Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Kress, and today I'm going to walk you through the whole book approach. The whole book approach takes reading to a whole new level. Instead of reading to our students, we're going to be reading with our students. This approach is a read-aloud model that has students make meaning of what they're hearing and seeing, as well as reacting to the art design, the production, the paratextual and textual elements of a book. This approach also allows students to make inferences and understand the story better. The whole book approach has 6 aspects that Megan talks about in her book: reading picture books with children, how to shake up story time, and get kids talking about what they see. The 6 aspects we are going to be talking about are the trim size and orientation, jackets and covers, end papers, front matter, typography, and page design. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to use this approach with these 2 books. The first one is Hey Grandude, which is written by Paul McCartney, and it was illustrated by Catherine Durst, and it was published by Random House in 2019. This book is about a grandpa taking his grandchildren, or what he calls his chillers, on all these crazy adventures with the magic compass. They go from beaches to riding horses in the desert. And the next book we're going to be looking at is Rescue and Jessica, A Life-Changing Friendship. It was written by Jessica Kensky and Patrick Downs, and it was illustrated by Scott Mangoon, and was published by Candlewick in 2018. This book is all about Jessica, who was in a terrible accident and is given a service dog to help her. Together, they go through all these different obstacles, and by the end of the book, all those obstacles just made their friendship so much better. So let's get started. The first aspect we are going to talk about today is trim size and orientation. Trim size and orientation refers to the shape or size of the cover of a book. Let's look at the cover of this book. When looking at this book, I noticed that it is very large and rectangle, and the book is vertical, which means it is portrait format. I wonder if this has anything to do with the story. Yeah, maybe they wanted the book to be really big to kind of mimic the globe, since that's what we see on here. Now let's look at the other book, which is not as big, and this one looks more like a perfect square. Why do you think the authors and illustrators wanted this book to be a square? What sort of feelings does a square give you when you look at it? Maybe it's to give us a sense of coziness. This is what Megan says in her book. So why do you think this book is so small and this one is so big? These questions help us understand the whole book better. Now let's talk about the jackets and covers. On top of both the books I'm showing you today have jackets. The jacket is a protective and decorative cover that fits over hardcover books. Let's talk about this jacket first. What information does this jacket give us about the story? Yeah, maybe that they're going to be traveling. And now let's look at the whole jacket. So when I open up the book, as you can see, this image goes from all the way from the back of the book, wraps around the spine, and comes to the front. We can see that they use the same image throughout the book. This is called the wraparound design. But on this book, it does not have a wraparound design. This has a dual image jacket. So there's one image on front and there's one image on back. Can you make connections between these 2 images? One connection I made is I think this is when they start being friends. This is where Rescue ends up. He gets his own little house. On the inside of jackets, there's information. There's information about the book. This is really important to read in order to have knowledge about what the book is going to be about. This helps us know if we will be interested in the book or not. Both the books I brought today have information about the book inside. And on the other side of the jacket is information about the author and the illustrator. This gives us information about who wrote the book and who created the picture. Both books have that. This shows us a little picture of what the author and illustrator look like. So those were the jackets of these two books. The next thing we're going to talk about are the end papers, which are glued to the inside covers of books. In this book, the end papers are red. Can you make a color connection between the jacket art and the end papers? Yeah, I see the red here. And then on the jacket cover, I see Rescue and Jessica's written in red. And also his jacket and his leash are red. So there's a color connection between these. End papers often give us clues about what the story a picture book tells. So in the book, Hey Granddude, let's look at the end papers. Look at those. What clues do you see here? Yeah, they kind of connect to the front. Now we can see the Paul McCartney is written in that color in white, and the blues kind of connect. So the end papers are on the front cover, and they're also on the back cover. And remember, they're what's glued to the covers. Now we're going to talk about front matter, which is really important to focus on before reading the book. These are the pages that come before the actual text in the book. This can consist of the half title page, the title page, copyright information, and the dedication page. So when we look at this, what can we find? The title. What else can you find? There's dedication, the copyright information, but what's this? It's a postcard to the reader. It says, "Dear reader, my name is Edward Marshall Sr. I have 4 grandchildren. I call them chillers, and they call me Granddude. I live in a very normal house on a very normal street, but when my chillers come to stay, we go on adventures that are far from normal. Sometimes things get a little bit out of hand, but everything always works out fine in the end. Come and join us on an adventure. Yours sincerely, Granddude." So he wants to make sure we read that before we read the story. So that's why the front matter is so important to read before we read the actual text. And then our other book, what do we see on here? Yep, we just see the title page. All these pages are really important to read before we actually go through the book. So remember, these are the front matter. Now we're going to talk about typography. This is the arrangement and design of the words on a page. This can show us how we should read with tone, expression, and different meanings. So let's look at this page where it says, "See the magic compass needle spin, let the magic fun begin." We can see that's written differently than the text up here. So that shows me that I should change my tone and expression when I read that. I think I should read it like, "See the compass needle spin, let the magic fun begin." Because I feel like it's a chant they have to say for the magic compass to work. And then another part, if you can see right here, says "Zing, bang, zizzle," written kind of like the text we just saw. So again, we need to change our tone and expression like zing, bang, zizzle. And then if we look at Rescue and Jessica, let's look right here. So a lot of the text in this book is very similar, but right here you can see that it's written a little different. Why do you think these words look like this? I think they italicize them so we can see what Rescue's thinking. Since dogs can't really talk, it shows us that Rescue's saying or thinking, "You think I'm amazing?" Rescue thought. "I think you're amazing." So that's the different ways typography can be used in books. The last thing we're going to talk about today is the page design. So this is how the pictures and artwork is laid out on the pages. One important thing to remember, which is included in page design, is called the gutter, which is right here. It's where the seam of the book is and where all the pages meet. Look how the authors and illustrators make sure no important features go into the gutter. You see that? Because if they would put writing right here, we might not be able to read it. So when talking about page design, there are two different styles authors and illustrators use to lay out their pages. One is called the double page spread, which is this one. This is where one image takes up both pages. So as we can see, this all goes together. Why do you think the artist made this choice to make this page a double page spread? Maybe because they wanted us to focus really hard on this whole thing going on, so they wanted to lay it out really big. And the other design artists and illustrators use is called a single page spread. Can you see that? This is where the gutter divides up the pictures. So we can see one thing going on and a different thing going on. The pages still connect somehow, but they're not the same image. Page design is important because we see if they wanted it to be a big picture or for us to see two separate pages. Well, thank you so much for watching this video and following along with the whole book approach. I invite you to use this approach when we're reading with children. Instead of reading to them, we are reading with them by engaging them in all of these different aspects. By asking them questions like I asked in this video, it helps them get engaged and think about what they're going to read. Students, I want you to ask yourself these questions before reading to understand why the author and illustrator did what they did. I hope you have a great time reading, everyone. Thank you.